Hello YouTube, hello. We are back with a speed lab again. I know it's been a while. It's been a while. Let's actually turn off the 30 FPS gaming. It has been a while, but I've been preoccupied by Elden Ring. I'm pretty sure people who know Elden Ring understand. They will understand me. Elden Ring DLC, what can I do? It's a good game, best game ever. But yeah, we're back now. And there was thunder outside. Hopefully you guys did not hear that. So yeah, let's start. Let's start. So, Eddy. This character. So this character does a lot of Mishima stuff. Like a lot of Mishima stuff. That's why people call him Eddy Mishima these days. I don't know if people actually call him. I call him that. But yeah, a lot of Mishima stuff basically and a lot of mix-ups. Eddy is very, very strong when it comes to mixing you up. And he's very, very good at it. I mean, that's what very strong means. Yeah. But yeah, he's very good at it, basically. So the thing about this matchup, let's talk about the neutral first. So the thing about this matchup in the neutral is that your electrics are still going to be good, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be as useful against the Eddy. Because the Eddy usual tools, what they use, have some kind of high crushing behind it. While the main one being 4-4-3. So I'm going to talk about this move later as well, but let me just showcase this. So 4-4-3 is one of the moves that Eddy players use to come in, right? Just go in and into a mix-up with like good 20 damage, plus 6, into stance. So this is one of the tools that Eddy players use to come close. So if you do an electric keep out against it, you can actually catch it, right? You can. Like that, it's possible to catch it. But it also has high crushing frames. Like that. And usually you won't catch them that much, unless you're super, super fast. Basically, this is what usually is gonna happen. Not the counter, it's this right here, not that. That, there we go. The high crushing. Or if you're unlucky, you're gonna get counter hit. But usually the high crushing is what's gonna happen. You can counter him out of it as well, which is not bad. As I said, electrics are still usable. But 4-4-3 being the main approach tool, still you have to be careful about it. Because as I said, it's high crushes. It is a high crush. Or something like down 4 can also high crush if they like do down 4 as a poke, which has a mind game behind it. But yeah, I'm going to talk about all that stuff. But yeah, electric is not bad as a keep out tool, but you also have to be very, very careful about Eddy's with punishment with down 4 3s. It is risky for them to do this. It is quite risky actually, but still be careful about whiffing too much. Okay, so that's good. It's very good actually. And also you have to worry about besides the 3+4 in the neutral. So these three things, just worry about them. 4-4-3, very, very common, the neutral. Electric won't work against it too much, but you can check with mids, or you can just block it if you think it's coming. But electrics can sometimes work if you time it correctly. That, besides the 3+4, you have to look out for this a lot, because Eddy players love doing that as a keep out. It is high now, so you can actually duck. But if you are going close with forward and pressing a button, usually you're gonna get hit. You are gonna get hit. So be careful about this. And think about this double high. Just show you guys the property because I don't think I'll be talking about this anymore. Is that it is -7, but it has slight pushback. It does have a slight pushback, so you have to be careful. Also, Eddy players can recover crouching from this. So this crouching recovery, right? If I do a jab, not that they can, they always do. They can do a while standing 1, for example, 1-3. So they recover crouching. So be careful about this. Usually try not to do highs. For example, back 4 or electric or stuff like that as a check. If you do them, they might just, you know, crush it because they're ducking. So yeah, be careful about that. Side +4 is a good keep out move, keep it in mind. 4-4-3, keep that in mind. And something like maybe down 4, keep that in mind as well because it's also a high crushing, you know, tool. High crushing tools in general are good. Or something like down 3. Okay, now let's talk about Eddy. So Eddy as a character, as I said, he's one of the characters that are very, very good at mixing people up. He's very good at it. And he has very, very easy transitions to mix-ups. Although Eddy players sometimes does take risks, but you also take a lot of risks. Basically, this character is very, very good at mixing you up with a lot of options. So 4-4-4 is also one of the moves I will talk about. I just randomly did it, but in a little bit. Cool, hello. So now for now, let's talk about Eddy down forward 1. So Eddy down forward 1 actually was very, very strong before the latest patch. So this down forward 1 used to track really, really well. So imagine this sidestep left just not working. So down forward 1, Eddy against Eddy, you do sidestep to the left, and then you can punish it, right? But before the patch, this was tracking. So now that's a very, very good change. Down forward 1 doesn't track anymore. So that's very, very good. But the thing about down forward 1 is that you have to look out for the high as well. So it has this high extension. And the thing about this high extension is that it's a very slow high extension. So you can't really fuzzy it. If I fuzzy it and get up, it won't work. If I fuzzy it, I have to fuzzy it in a later frame. So not a fast fuzzy, but a slow one. Right? Something like this. I just messed it up. Something like that. But also you have to keep in mind that this recovers very quickly. Right? That's not a punish. That wasn't a punish either, that down jab. Not a punish. So you have to be very, very careful. If you do duck it, you have to punish it quickly. That was a punish. Let me try to make it not punish. There you go. That wasn't a punish. So it recovers quite quickly. So you have to be careful about this. It's not that big of a problem, but the main way AD players will use this is at the wall. Because this is natural and it will wall splat. So this is a 13 frame wall splat, which is a high as well. Of course you can duck it. But the mind game there makes it pretty damn annoying. So you have to either look out for the high, or they might just spam down forward once. Right, just down forward 1, down forward 1, down forward 1. It is -3 instead of like -1 or -2, which is good. But still, it can be very annoying to deal with something like this. So you have to, every time you block this, basically, try step blocking. Because even if you step block and this gets blocked, it's fine. At least you're going to slowly get out of the wall. Because that's about down forward 1. Now let's talk about the other option that basically replaced the down forward 1 tracking. It's this, back 1. So back 1 is a very, very good move that AD players have. This is a very, very strong move. So back 1 used to be homing before the patch as well, and it's still homing. So this is a 14 frame homing move. It's a very, very strong move that AD players have just to check you. So they can do just back 1, obviously they can do this. But the strength of this move is because of the homing property. You cannot sidestep this. Right? You can punch parry it, obviously. You can interrupt it, but it's still pretty damn fast. So that's about back 1. Basically, AD players can use that as a tracking move. It is -7, but it has a lot of follow-ups. So usually they will, basically what I'm saying is usually will respect it because of the follow-ups. So back 1-4 is the follow-up here. I don't think he has any other follow-ups. So back 1-4, it's a double mid. And if you are stepping, as I said, let's say you're stepping. It is not a natural, but you are gonna be hit by the first hit, which makes the second hit basically guaranteed. Because usually you can step this. So the weakness of back 1-4 is step either direction. With Kazuya, you can also down forward 1, down forward 2, get a tornado. You can also back 2-2, get this kind of combo. You can also do something like this. If you're like super fancy with it, maybe sidestep duck, lost time 1+2. Sometimes that doesn't work. Like this, right? Get this kind of combo. But the weakness of back 1-4 is that it's steppable. The best way, one of the best ways to deal with this is back 2-2. So sidestep into back 2-2. Then you just do a normal combo. Right? It's a 40 damage combo, it's not the best. You can also electric here. If you electric, I think this will also work. Yep. So it's fine. But keep in mind that that only works on sidestep right. If you sidestep left electric, it won't work. But if you sidestep left back 2-2, this will also not work. I actually didn't remember if this worked or not. But yeah, this doesn't work. So if you do want a good combo, I guess sidestep right is gonna be your choice. Unless you just do an instant tornado or like something like that, right? You can also work, it's not fine. I mean, it's fine, it's okay. But usually sidestep right is better for combos. Usually. Because you can step both ways, might as well go right. After back 1, anyway. So you have to react to back 1, step this. And then, Eddy player, so let's imagine you don't step it. Right? And this happens, you just block it. So when you block it, Eddy player is in a mind state situation here. But the main reason that a lot of people, I'm pretty sure you've seen this before, the main reason a lot of people do not actually mash after it, because you can mash after it and actually make Eddy players very annoyed. Because usually they do this into mix-ups, right? Something like this. The main reason you don't do that is because of the follow-ups. Is this 3 or a 4? I forgot. It's a 3. So after this, there's a mid follow-up. So if you do mash here, you're going to get countered. So something like this. It is a punishable follow-up, -13. But usually, when people respect it, Eddy players go into the stance like this. And then mix you up, right? And do one of the stance options. I'm going to talk about these stances later. So there are 2 stances, the relax and the handstand. These 2. I'm going to talk about these 2 stances later. So this is the mind game, basically. The mind game is, if you don't sidestep this, you basically have to guess, oh, they're going to finish it, they're not going to finish it. And if you guess that they're not going to finish it, mashing will actually work really well. The best thing they can do here is a power crush. How's a power crush? 1+2 maybe? 1+2. So if they power crush here, this will trade with 15 framers. Right? But if you do mash, something like back to 2 is going to be your best option. Because it will trade with 15 and 14 will beat it. So back to 2 into normal combo. Not that one, but yeah, back to 2. This is really good to do. It is risky, obviously it's risky. Because you will get countered by the follow-ups. But sometimes you just have to, you know, challenge it. You can't let the Eddy players get away. If you're not sidestepping this, which is the correct way to deal with it, it's still really, really good to just mash sometimes. But now let's talk about the extra mind game that comes with sidestepping this move. So what's the extra mind game? So the extra mind game is actually very, very simple. Because back 1 by itself actually is very strong. So back 1 is a -7 mid that has this follow-up. But back 1, the existence of this move forces you to sidestep every time you see this. So if you're good and you can react to this, you're going to sidestep left or sidestep right after back 1. Because, you know, because of the 4. You want to sidestep it and punish it. But what good Eddy players will do, basically, is they will create a mind game with just back 1. And the mind game is simple. If you sidestep every time you see this, imagine the Kazuya player sidestepping, right? They're going to go into full crouch and, you know, continue their pressure. Something like this. Back 1, full crouch down forward 3. Back 1, full crouch down forward 4. Which is, they're on the slower sides, but they can still catch you. So you have to be very, very careful about these mind games. The mind games, back 1 is, I think, one of his best moves. The tracking 14 frame mid with multiple mind games with just this, or even this. Or then you can, you know, continue this. And there's also another follow-up. This one, right? Which is an additional mind game. If you block the third one, you have to guess if they're going to finish this or not. So, you have to be careful. You 100%, you have to be very, very careful. And also the thing about this mid right here. Let me just showcase this. It's very, very hard to step. Actually, I think it's impossible to step. Maybe Lulu can step it, I'm not sure. But you cannot step this. If you think, oh, let me just step it, let me just be safe, you cannot step it. It is better than getting countered, but still, not steppable. But if you do try to step, it's not the worst option. I think it's not a bad option, actually. Because if you try to step and this hits you, let's say you step here, this hits you, and then not hit me. The last one is not guaranteed. But if you press, this is guaranteed. So this is not natural. So stepping here is not a bad option at all, because at least you're not going to get countered. And if you do step, you might avoid some of the options that the player is going to do after back 1-4. Like for example, maybe a 1 you're going to avoid if you start stepping after back 1. Let me just showcase that, right? Just this one example. So back 1-4, you block it, then you start stepping. Let me see, you start stepping. Like something like this might happen. Or if I go the other direction, yeah, something like that might happen. Well, the only thing I'm risking is a little bit of a poke on the third hit. But of course the Eddy player can just do something else. Obviously they can just do something else to make their options track. Like maybe something like this will track a little bit better. Just a stance move. But as I said, I'm going to talk about the stance moves later in the end. Okay, so this is more or less about back 1. So the main mind games you have to consider is just back 1, which goes to full crouch into like while standing 4 maybe, or full crouch moves. So I'm going to talk about full crouch moves next, but for now, let me talk about back 1. So that's the main mind game, and after that is the back 1-4 mind game, which you have to sidestep. If you don't sidestep it, there's another mind game between back 1-4, 3, or back 1-4 stance transition mix-ups. So it's something like this. Tekken can feel very, very complicated, because of the amount of mind games these characters can have. But this is just how it works and how players think. When you decide of something that's good or not, mental frames is very important. They're very important. Like back one, even though he's -7, you have mental frames just because you have to sidestep this. Then they do back one to full crouch this, and it works because, you know, you're sidestepping and you don't have the frames to do anything else. This is how it is. So that's more or less about back one. Now let's talk about the full crouch moves I just mentioned, right? Because back one into full crouch, this is very common. And the main two moves that Eddy has from full crouch is full crouch down forward 3 and full crouch down forward 4. What the hell? What was that? So these two. So let's talk about this. So full crouch, he has a mid option that's +6. And this is the full crouch down forward 3. So if you do block it, you are going to be in +6 situation, no, -6 situation for you. And Eddy is going to be in a relaxed stance. Right? But the good thing about this is very important, is that usually this down forward 3 has enough pushback for Eddy players to not be able to hell sweep you. So that stance is a hell sweep stance. If they press 3 to hell sweep. So let's imagine something like this happens, like this into hell sweep. And if you're moving, even like backdashing a little bit, this just won't work. This needs a clean hit. Right? If you stay normal and don't backdash, let's say you hold back, this will hit you. This is why it's so important to backdash after everything. Because this will work like that, no clean hit, and then just punish it. Right? So this is one of the most important things you can do against Eddy, is backdash after everything. If you backdash, most likely the hell sweep is not going to clean hit. Of course, the Eddy player can do some other stuff, like I've seen Eddy players do this as well, which I call the Eddy wave dash. Just literally press forward and come closer to you. This is the Eddy wave dash, by the way. And then they'll be in the range for the hell sweep. So what I mean is something like this, and hell sweep. They can also do this because you're respecting it, right? You're backdashing, now you're gonna get hit. Of course you can just keep on backdashing, but the distance this creates is actually so much that you cannot double backdash this. It will be a clean hit no matter what. It's the Eddy wave dash. So one forward input will get Eddy close enough for the hell sweep to work. So you have to be very careful about that. Very careful. And you can't, in a way you can react to him doing this little move. But if they do something fast, let's say they do like a 4, which is 15 frames fast, you might get countered instead. So be careful about that. So that's about the full crouch move, the mid anyway. The weakness of this is, let's say he does like this, right? And you sidestep after back one, sidewalk. Is that it's linear. But be careful about punishing this. Sometimes, I don't know why, the electric whips like that. Because this transitions into relax, which high crushes. If you want like good punishment, down forward 1-4 is your go-to as guys. The new down forward 1-4 is really good. You get a stomp here for 51 damage, you know, or 4-4 for better rolling. It's pretty damn good. So sidewalk and electric works, but you have to be quick with it. Or if you want to like play it very safe, down forward 1-4 into whatever follow-up you want, right? And those are the two options you have. So sidestepping is good. But now let's talk about the other full crouch move, which is the low. So if you do sidestep, the low will also, you know, whiff. But you have to commit to a sidewalk. You actually have to sidewalk this. And I think it only works one side. No, it works both sides. It does work both sides. So you have to sidewalk this and then, you know, go for your combo. Usually your back to 2 is your best bet, but if you want to play like super safe, down forward 1, down forward 2 instantly, just do this. This is your best bet. Into whatever combo you want. Whatever you want, basically. So the sidestep mind game is really good here, because if you do sidewalk, not sidestep, right? This happens to be sidestep. You can avoid this as well. So that's really good. Rewatch yesterday Ace games. I didn't rewatch it. I might watch it again, but first let me finish the speed lab. So that's very important. And the most important part about this move is that whenever you do duck it, you cannot launch it normally. Let's say you duck this, right? So you cannot launch it normally. Twin pistons will work technically, but it does so little damage. I would not advise doing this at all. Like 33 damage, garbage, right? So this is the way you beat this. Not beat this, you punish this. You wall stay 1+2. We actually have a pretty decent punish on this. Duck it, wall stay 1+2, back to 2. This just works. It's really good into whatever combo you want, right? Just do wall stay 1+2. Is your damage. Yeah, it's pretty good. It is. Wall stay 1+2 is a very, very good option that we have. So yeah, you can also do other stuff like crouch cancel electric, but you have wall stay 1+2, which does more damage. So yeah, but now let's talk about the on-hit property. So let's say you don't block this, which usually is, you know, it won't be blocked. It's a +9 move that does 25 damage, so this hits like a truck. Low sell. This really hurts, like really hurts. And puts him in handstand. So the handstand position is not a healthy position, right? So you should not be worried about the lows that much, unless the Eddy has a stack of his special thingy, Manjinga, whatever it's called. So if he does have a stack, the handstand becomes way scarier because there's a low there now. But unless he has a stack, you shouldn't be too worried. But yeah, as I said, I'm going to talk about the, what's it called? The stances later. Cloud9, hello. Okay, so that's about the full crouch move, more or less about it. And you just have to worry about, like, mostly mids after this, unless they have a stack, as I said. Like something like this. It's going to be pretty common for plus frames and stuff like that. Okay, so that's very, very important to know. But now let's talk about one of the most two annoying moves for me. How am I doing? I'm doing well, bro. Doing a speed lab now. Doing well. Thank you for asking. So, one is forward 3+4. So forward 3+4 is basically Eddy's version of a Demon Paw. So we have forward 4-2, right? This is our Demon Paw. Eddy has forward 3+4. Very, very similar move with a lot of range. It is mid. It's -9. Heat engager. Basically Eddy's version of a Demon Paw. But it does not track that much. Yeah, correct, the edge. Because ours have a forward input, which makes it so that it tracks a little bit better. So this tracks less. But it's still very, very good. It's basically, as I said, Eddy's version of a Demon Paw. It's also a launcher in heat, right? Into whatever. It's a launcher. So you have to be careful about this. And the weakness this has, as the edge already mentioned, is that it doesn't track much. The tracking of this is really, really bad. It will have a little bit better tracking the further you are, but usually you'll be able to step it pretty reliably, right? It's a very, very good step. So in the neutral, keep stepping against Eddy. But this is still very, very annoying to deal with, because it's a mid-safe heat engager. And if you duck like something like 4-4-3, you will get hit by this. So be very, very careful about that. Now the other thing. This right here. I'm just so glad they nerfed it. So this is a high power crush, right? It's a high power crush. So if you do something like this, let's say you want to, you can duck this. It is duckable, or one into duck, right? If you react to it, it's good. And it's linear. So that's the weakness of it. It's a high power crush, and it's linear. It used to track more, but they nerfed it. So it's really, really good. But the strength of this move is that it's fast, right? It's 20. It's not the fastest. Like Victor's is very, very fast compared to this. But it's a heat engager. So this is one of those high power crush safe heat engagers. 20 isn't fast. I think it's quite okay. I think 20 is okay. Like our power crush is also a little bit on the okay side. But I guess you're right, it's not quite fast or anything. Oh yeah, Victor's got nerfed, true. True. You are correct. I forgot. Victor's was way faster. But yeah, be careful about this. Be very, very careful about this. Someone like Shaheen also has something like this. Azucena has something like this. Victor has something like this. There are a lot of characters that have something like this. So yeah, be careful. It's basically their panic tool. It is worse because new patch, and that's really good. That it is. But yeah. Wait, is that a launch? Does that launch? No, it doesn't. Okay. Thank goodness. Okay. So yeah, be careful about this. This can be very, very annoying. I mean, very annoying. Okay. Now let's talk about forward, 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 and forward, forward 3. So the two forward, forward moves. So forward, forward 3 is 21 frame low. That has a million range. A million range. Right? Very, very good range. And unlike some other moves that are like 21 or 22 frames that might be reactable, this is very hard to react to because of the animation. This animation is so weird, basically. It's not distinctive, you can't really tell something's happening, that you can't really react to it much. And the thing about forward forward 3 is that it's very, very strong for Eddy. This might be one of the strongest lows he has. It's a tool which he uses to go in, uses the plus frames, right? +6, and goes into relax. And as I said, relax is the hell sweep stance. So in here, this hell sweep can happen. That's why it's so important for you to backdash. But sometimes even the backdash won't help you, right? If the Eddy player is close, the backdash won't help you on avoiding the hell sweep. You have to guess. But if they're not close, let's say you're backdashing a lot, right? I just accidentally blocked that. Right. Let me just make it further away. There we go. Then you'll avoid it like that. So one backdash is good. Can you jump? Can you jump over it? No. It's too fast. You can jump over it with this, but not manually jump. You have to use low crushing moves, basically. Oh, and also, the thing about forward forward 3 is that it has very, very decent tracking to the right. This is basically homing to the right. You can step it to the left. So if you want to step Eddy, you usually want to go to the left. But because it's a forward forward move, this can also track to the left. So forward forward 3 in general is a very strong move. Because forward forward makes it so it tracks better. Because, you know, forward forward moves usually work like that. It already tracks very well to the right, and you have to sidestep it to the left if you like really predict it. Or sidewalk to the left. But even then it might track you. So it's very strong. This is very, very strong. Okay. So forward forward 3 works like this, and the biggest thing about this is that unblocked is -14. So if you do block this, you do get a TP. But there's one thing that's very, very important for Kazuya players to know. Very important. This happened to me a lot. Is that on the longer ranges, this doesn't work. Let's say you blocked on long range, right? Backdash dog, something like this. Sometimes it will just whiff because our TP sucks. This just sucks. So as a Kazuya player, please remember that sometimes your TP can just whiff on longer ranges. So if you want something very consistent, while saying 1+2 is you're going to be your punish, this will almost always work, if not always. And while saying 4-4 is going to be your most consistent punishments. But TP, of course you want the TP because, you know, you get good damage. Instant tornado launcher. But yeah, as I said, keep into consideration that it can whiff on longer ranges. Now let's talk about on hit. So on hit, as I said, it goes into relax, which is the hell sweep stance. Which means that this into this is a frame trap, by the way. Because it's a +6 to 16. If they're close enough, you won't be able to do anything about this. You can't even sidestep here. Nope. If they're close, you can't even backdash. Nope. You have to guess. You just have to duck. And if you down jab, I think Eddy gets a combo here. So it's not worth trading. Either a combo or a guaranteed forward forward 4 or something like that. I think this is a combo though. So yeah, be very, very careful. That's a frame trap. Basically a frame trap. And you can't also do a heat burst here because there's a low coming. You won't be able to heat burst out of it. You won't do a normal power crush. Basically, it's a fucked up situation. It's messed up. You have to be very, very careful about forward forward 3, especially in like closer ranges. If they forward forward 3 you, they can just do a mid mix up and mix up with the hell sweep. Okay. And yeah, you cannot step this sweep, as I said. That hell sweep is unsteppable, very fast. You have to guess it. So forward forward 3, you basically have to duck it. It is more on the slower side, so it's sometimes okay. You can also sidestep it to the left, so if you do guess that it's gonna happen, sidewalk to the left or sidestep to the left, that can work. And the way to whiff punish this, let me actually showcase that as well. Just do this. You're just sidestepping. Like, you guys can tell that it's hard to sidestep, right? There we go. Is that you cannot use highs against it. I just wanted to showcase that. You can't use highs. So down forward 1-4 is gonna be your best friend. It sucks because we can't launch it. If you sidestep, the down forward 1-4 is gonna be your best friend. So down forward 1-4 into whatever, you know. Forward 4-4, whatever. Or stop. Okay, I understand why people are saying that forward 4-4 is a little bit weird here. I think you can get used to it with just a forward 4 input if you delay it. But it is a bit weird without the wave dash. But yeah, down forward 1-4 is your best friend. You need a mid. Or you can do down forward 1-2, whatever, right? Just use a mid. Doesn't matter what you use, just use a mid. And punish him for it. Like down back 1-2, even that. Okay, so that's more or less about forward 4-3. Be very careful because it tracks really well, as I said. It tracks completely to the right, it still tracks to the left, so it's very hard to sidestep. If you do sidestep it, you have to use a mid to punish it. And it's very, very hard to backdash out of. So it's a very strong move. This is a very, very good move. Now let's talk about the other forward 4 move, which is forward 4-4. Which might catch you if you do duck. So let's imagine that you're ducking a forward 4-3 because you think it's coming. And then the Eddy player just decides, okay, let me just do this. You're gonna get launched, right? It's a mid launcher. It's very, very good. Now let's talk about this move a bit. So forward 4-4 is normal hit a mid launcher. That also is weak to stepping. This time, this move is stepped to both sides. I think it's stepped to right more. But it can be stepped both sides. But the thing about this move is that it's minus 12 for the Eddy player. And minus 12 here means that you can actually punish it. And usually your punishment for Gaz, as a Gaz player, is going to be back to 2. Back to 2 here is amazing. Even in longer ranges, it might whiff. I think it whiffs sometimes, but normally it doesn't. Yeah, normally it doesn't. Some angles, maybe. But back to 2 is basically your go-to, and down forward 1, down forward 2. And then you just, go for your combo. This is going to be your go-to punish, and they cannot power crush this or do anything about it. What they can do, I think, is maybe sidestep by going to relax like this. Maybe this will work. But back to 2 usually is a pretty good option. Okay, even that doesn't work. I don't know what else they can do here. Oh, they can do the backswing blow. I almost forgot they can do backswing blow. But even this doesn't work against it. Because back to 2 is a 2-hit. So even if they avoid it, the second hit is gonna catch them. So if something like this happens, the second hit is gonna catch them. No matter what, back to 2 is your go-to. So this is a very, very good option. I really like back to 2. You either get a float or get that hit because of the backswing. So just don't be greedy and back to 2, basically. If you want to be greedy, of course, you can bait out the backswing, for example, if they like doing it. Or you can bait out some other stuff. But usually back to 2 is your go-to. It's very, very strong. Okay. Now let's talk about this. I also want to talk about this, the 4-4. So this 4-4 is basically the magic 4 of Eddy. This is guaranteed on counter hit, while normal hit, it's not guaranteed. 4-4, right? It's a 13 frame move. It's basically a magic 4, but it's a mid. It's not a high. I guess that makes it not a magic 4. But, yeah. And be very, very careful about it. And the most annoying thing about 4-4 is that it's a safe mid-mid. Right? It's minus 7. Not even minus 9, it's safe mid-mid. Heat engager. So if you do press here, let's say you prefer something slow, like down forward 1, you're gonna get hit. You can press a jab here, or back 1. I think 12 doesn't work. Yeah, 12 trades. And you can actually avoid the stuff like that to get a float, right? But the best way you deal with this is with a sidestep. If you want maximum amounts of damage, you sidestep it. But make sure to sidestep to the right, not to the left. I was just checking if left worked. It doesn't work. You have to sidestep to the right. And then, whatever combo you want. Maximum damage for this, not damage. Maximum punishment for this is sidestep right electric. Then do whatever you want, right? 3-1, whatever. Whatever. Just punish it correctly. You could also jab. But if you jab every time they do a magic 4, you might, get hit by something you shouldn't be getting hit by. So, sidestep right, very, very strong in that situation. Okay. There's also one more move I want to talk about, but I forgot what the input is. It's like a double kick that looks like a cyclone kick. Something like this, basically. That has follow-ups. Not this. That's the wall combo. That Eddy players sometimes like to do. I think it has it's a mid-high, but I forgot the input. Okay, maybe I'll remember later. Okay, so far, let's talk about back 3. I think back 3 is also very, very important to talk about. So back 3 is basically Eddy's counter hit tool. This is Eddy's go-to counter hit tool. It's a 13 frame move, just like his down forward 1. But the down forward 1 doesn't have a counter property like back 3 does. Also, this is more plus. It's like college lecture. It is what it is, bro. So back 3 on counter hit is where it's strong. And the reason it's strong is because back 3 can be confirmed. And this is a very easy confirm. And you confirm it on counter hit, and then you get, you get a combo. But the minus of it, so let's talk about the weaknesses of back 3. The back 3 has a very, very good tracking. But the range of it is a little bit iffy. Right? You can usually backdash this. Very, very backdashable. But has very, very good tracking. I actually don't know why it has such good tracking. It's a little bit weird. But the tracking is very, very good. Range, not that good. One weakness, backdashable, backdash a lot, back 3 can whiff. Second weakness is that the back 3 by itself, so let's say they just finish this. It's minus 15. So your down forward 1-4 is gonna be your punish. I know you guys want to electric this, but you can't. I want to electric this too. You cannot electric this. This used to be plus 14, so minus 14. But now it's 15. If you do have heat, you do down forward 1 too. So you do this. This, heat dash, into whatever combo you want, right? So yeah, down forward 1-4 is gonna be your go-to punish. Go in, stomp, max damage. Pretty good. So that's one of the biggest weaknesses. Against other characters, this will be launched, like everyone else is gonna launch this if they have like generic down forward 2 or something similar. Or, anything that's minus 15. So yeah, be aware of this, back 3. And it's exactly the same with while staying 1-3, by the way. So while staying 1-3 is Eddy's 13 frame Punisher. But this has exactly the same frames. It used to be minus 14, now it's minus 15. This is a punish. This is how you do it. Okay. So this is very, very important. No. And the other move I just can't remember. Okay, that's a heat move. I have to talk about heat later. Why can't I remember, bro? I suck. But, okay. Now let's talk about some of the lows. So I already mentioned 2 lows, which is a 4-4-3. I already mentioned this. And I briefly mentioned down 4. So let's mention down 4 a bit and then down 3. So down 4 is a low check, kind of. It's not a check, but it's like a low poke that Eddy players might use if they want high crushing properties and a mind game. So I'll explain both of them. So down 4 by itself has very, very good tracking, right? Usually won't be able to sidestep this. Usually. I'm trying to sidestep it. Doesn't work. Decent tracking, but the weakness of it is that it's minus 16. So you can actually either TP this or even while standing 2. But usually it's pretty good to TP because the block stands a bit weird. Usually I would recommend TPing instead of while standing 2ing this, right? Now, of course you can do that as well. It's minus 16. It's very, very risky. But the thing about the Eddy's down 4 is that it has a mind game. Even though it's minus 5, so on hits minus 5, it's still your turn. It has a mind game with a 3 here. So down 4-3, this, and Eddy also gets a guaranteed crouch grab. Right? That's guaranteed. And the thing about this also is that the guaranteed crouch grab is a heat engager. So you have to be very, very careful here. Very, very careful. Let me just smash. So the mind game is simple. Either they do just this or continue with this. And the thing about Kaz, we actually have a pretty good mind game here, is that if you do block the second one, it's minus 13 and you get TP. It's very, very good. Never forget to TP this. Very important to punish this, because you don't want the Eddy players to spam down 4. It's very annoying as a cause. If they spam this, they're just going to be high crushing all the time, right? And you don't want that. So you have to either punish this and guess that they're not going to finish it, or if they do finish it, punish that. Oh, and one more thing is also important to realize, that on counter it, this is guaranteed. So down 4-3 is guaranteed on counter it. Okay. So that's about down 4 and down 4-3 mind game in general. Now let's talk about down 3. So down 3 is another high crushing low. There's a lot of high crushing lows that Eddy has. That's plus on hit. So this is minus 14, so you can also TP this. But this also has a slight problem with TP. I think there are some ranges it will win. But usually it will work. Yeah, usually it works. There you go, unless it's that. There are some ranges when it doesn't work, but usually your TP is gonna work if you block this. So TP, get your punish. It's good damage. But this is a high crushing low. That's plus. That has a decent counter property. So Eddy player gets a guaranteed 4-4-4 here. I'm pretty sure. Or guaranteed something. I think 4-4-4 is actually guaranteed here. So you have to be very, very careful about that. So that's about down 3. Oh, and also, this low also tracks really well. It just tracks. You just can't step. So down 3, down 4, you just can't step them. They're very, very good when it comes to that regard. And the other low I want to talk about is it side step 3? I think it's side step 4. Yeah, side step 4, this one. So side step 4 is another low Eddy players might use, but it is a side step move. Also minus 13. So all the lows that Eddy player might use is TPable. At least TPable, right? Unless that happens. As I already said, there are some issues when it comes to TP because of the range it has. But usually it's TPable. Stick them for the power. If you want to play it super safe, lost anyone +2. This is like the safest thing you can do. Or 4-4. This is like very good punishment. But now let's talk about this move in general. So this move also has amazing tracking. Basically you can't sidestep this. You can avoid the second hit sometimes like that, but usually that won't happen. So you're gonna get hit by it, and it's a +3. It doesn't do that much damage to 17. It's okay damage, but not the most, right? But just be careful about the +3 property. If you do get hit by this, remember that the Eddy player can down forward 1 check you, they can back 1 check you, they can do a lot of stuff, basically. And one of the best things you can do here is backdash because of the space created. I think the Eddy player most likely is going to do the same thing as you if you do backdash. But backdashing is very good. Just backdash once, most things may be whiffing. Eddy player most likely is going to do the same thing, and good Eddy player will backdash here, and if you do press something, they'll whiff punish you. So, yeah, be very, very careful. Be very careful when it comes to this. Okay, that's about side step 4. Now let's talk about this move. The stature kick of Eddy, basically. So this is a little bit on the faster side. It's an 18 frame low, and it looks like a stature kick, right? Something like a down back 4 on Gus. So it's a 0 on hit move. That's +14 on counter. So this is really, really good. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it's still really, really good to have these plus frames. I don't think this guarantees anything. Yeah, it doesn't guarantee anything. So you have to be careful about it. And the thing about this is that it looks like it's -12. Oh, it's not 13. Why did I think it was -13? It is -12. Yeah, it is -12. I thought it was 13. Damn. Okay. It is -12. I remembered it incorrectly. So yeah, I have to be careful about this. Be very, very careful about this. Oh, I remembered. It's this move. Down back 4. So Eddy players sometimes like to spam this. This right here. Down back 4. So this move is just a knowledge check. I just wanted to mention it very, very briefly. The down back 4-4. This is a high. You have to duck it. It doesn't look like a high. Like that, I don't know. It looks very weird. But the second one's a high. Okay. What else to talk about? So I talked about the lows. I think the most common lows anyway. Yeah, it looks like a mid. It does. Talked about back 3. Maybe I should talk about forward 4 a bit. The thing about forward 4, won't take that much time at all. The thing about forward 4 is that this is the same move as back 1-4. This is exactly the same move. But obviously, it's just a 1-button input for it. So if you do forward 4, if they do it, it's very, very risky for them getting stepped because it's very linear. Just like the back 1-4 version of it. But the main thing about this is that it enforces the mind game with this. So the mind game is exactly the same. So this, when I talked about this, is the same with forward 4-3. Exactly the same. And I almost forgot to mention that back 1-4 also has a low here. This low right here. So you have to be afraid of that too. So the mind game is... it's not that simple with just this mid or this low. But the low is a little bit on the slower side. It's not that slow. I think it used to be slower. It's 0.2 now. But at least it doesn't launch. It used to. So it's exactly the same here. Mind games are exactly the same. Sometimes you mash, sometimes you don't. So, yeah, be careful. The low is guaranteed on the back 1 counter. Yeah, it is. I almost forgot to mention that. So if they countered you on the back 1, this is guaranteed. I almost forgot to mention this. Yeah, back 1 is very strong just because of this as well. This is all guaranteed into something like... Something's guaranteed here, basically. I forgot. It's like 50 something damage. It's very, very strong. Okay. So that's back 1. That's very, very good. 3+4. Is it 3+4? Oh, it does. It does. Let me just show you guys the damage. Yeah, that's guaranteed. That's 61 damage. Holy shit. That's a lot of damage. So it's very strong. Back 1, as I said, I think this is the best move that Eddy has. It's very, very good. And I also almost forgot to mention the counter property on forward 4-3. So forward 4-3 on counter, it also guarantees this. So this move is very strong. Very, very strong. You have to be very careful about this. I already mentioned this, but I just forgot to mention the counter property. This guarantees 4-3, which is 50 damage. Right? And at the wall, that's a wall splat. So if this happens, 4-3, that's a wall splat. Into whatever, right? Whatever combo. Gonna deal a lot of damage. And yeah, in heat, I'm gonna talk about heat later, but in heat, this will launch. So imagine something like this is what we're talking about. This into 4-3, heat dash into whatever, right? It's a combo on 4-4-3 counter hit. So be very careful. Be very, very careful. 4-4-3 is a very strong move. Yeah, let's talk about down 4-2 as well, since DH said it. So down 4-2 is a 14-frame counter hit move. You can kind of think about it like back 3, but slower and safer. So let's talk about down 4-2. So down 4-2 is a move that tracks really well to one side. So it tracks really well to the left, but you can also sidewalk it. But the tracking is still good. Basically, you can sidestep it. It's very, very good pushback, which is only -5. That's why I'm saying that it's just safer and better to do. It's a counter hit move, but it doesn't counter launch. I think this gives the game to 4-4-4, maybe a 4-4-3, something like that. If you want to easily step it, you go to the right. But that's basically the mind game between down 4-2 and down forward 1. That down forward 1 tracks to the right, down forward 2 doesn't. And you basically have to guess if you want to step right or left. Usually I would recommend to step left just because of forward 4-3 and down forward 1. But, yeah. Seems like it's too far. Maybe. I'm not sure. That seems guaranteed. Now that's messed up. I think 4-4-3 is guaranteed. Pretty easy. Maybe 4-4-4 is too. But, yeah, be careful about that. Or maybe I can get up there. I'm not sure if I can get up there. Anyway, down 4-2 is a counter hit move. You won't see it that much anymore because it used to launch, not anymore. So, yeah. The main issue about down 4-2, the main problem about it, is that on block it's -5 and it has a lot of pushback, so you have to be careful. Does it flat? I'm pretty sure it does, yeah. Okay, let's see if I have to remember something else. I talked about 4. Do I have to go to the stances now? I think it's time for the stances. Is it? I think it's time. Yeah, first, let's talk about the relax. This stance right here. The most common transition to relax is 4-4-3. I already talked about this, right? 4-4-3 is a very, very common transition. That and full crouch down forward 3 is also a very common transition. So if you want to look out for stance moves, usually they come after these two. Of course, they can also do manual stance, but you won't see this that much. Okay, so relaxed stance, you can also just remember it as the hell sweep stance. This is a stance where Eddy's hell sweep comes. The stance 3-3, right? And this hits hard. 32 damage, gives him a stack. It hits hard. You have to be very careful about this, but usually it's a mix-up. Like for example here, that's a mix-up. You can't do anything about this. You have to guess either the 4 or the 3. So the 3 is the hell sweep, and the 4 is the mid option, which mixes up the hell sweep. So 4-3 is also a hit confirmable mid-mid, right? That Eddy players can use, especially good ones. Is Lydia coming out? We don't know. We don't know. And as I said, this is very, very good because it's also a launcher in heat. It's very, very strong. So, have to be very careful about this. But if you do block it, let's say you block this. 4-3. You can either step it if they delay it. But be careful to not step to the left. You can step the delay on the right, get the launch. So I would not recommend this. This is this only happens if they delay it, so I would not recommend that much. So let me just showcase the version without the delay. So you cannot. If you're like really have the hard read on delay, you can do it. Sometimes I like to do it. But it's not a good decision. Good decision. Just basically block. Basically just block. You block it. Classic thing, we're following. And you punish it. Minus 13. Down back 1-2, it will work. Back 1-2, it will work. Right? Just punish it normally. It's minus 13. But on the hard read, you can also sidestep right. I just want to showcase that. Okay, so that's about the 4. That's basically the mid option. And the low option. But Eddy also has some other options as well. So the other option, if they want another mid, is 3+4. Which you won't see that much, like you won't see this that much, unless on the hard read. So if the Eddy player like really thinks you're gonna duck, and they want a like bigger reward, they might just do this. Right? Into whatever, combo. But the reason you won't see this that much is because it's very punishable. So if you do block this, you do back to 2. It's a float combo with back to 2, but you can also do an electric. But electric is a little bit iffy. I don't like it that much. Because you have to time it a little bit correctly. Because if you don't time it correctly, you get a float. You can electric, don't get me wrong. And electric is the best thing to do here because of this. But if you do it too fast, let's say I do it too fast. Let me just try it. You will get a float and your combo won't work. So it's a little bit iffy. You actually have to do a slower electric than normal to make this work, which is a little bit weird. But if you back to 2, you just get this float combo. So just pick and choose, basically. Electric is going to be the best option for damage, and it's just good in general. But if you're too fast with it, you're going to drop the entire combo. Because I think even down forward 1 doesn't work. Yeah, even down forward 1 doesn't work. You just drop it. It's just weird like that. Okay. So that's about that. Now let's talk about the other 2 options as well. Let's talk about the other low. So Eddy has a high risk, high reward, low option with the hell sweep with the 3-3, the relaxed stance, right? The other one is a low risk one, which is the relaxed 1. So relaxed 1 is a very low damaging low. It does 7 damage, basically. 17 frames, 0 on block, not block, on hit. But the thing about this move is that it's safe, right? It's safe to do. Minus 11. By safe, I mean, no. Safe for low standards. It's minus 11, you can only walk thing 4-4. And it also has a mind game. So the thing about this, which makes it very strong, is that it has a mind game with the 3. And the 3 can be very delayed. Like, this is very delayable. Like, I think that was max delay. So the 3 is very, very delayable. This is not natural. Like, this is not natural. You can block this. Let's say you just get hit by low. You block this, you punish this. This minus 14. Down back 1-2 is going to be your go-to. because you cannot electric this. Even if you do the 14 frame electric here, you can't electric it. So down back 1-2 is going to be your go-to punish here. Do not back 1-2, that doesn't work either. Down back 1-2. Right? Or you can also 1+2 if you like it. Just punish it with the mid. 14 frame, punish it with the mid. But the thing about this is that if you do get countered by it, let's say I get countered by it, this is natural. And it is +5. So you have to be careful. +5 forces crouch. Be careful about that. But the biggest thing about it, in my opinion, is that if you do mash like this, let's say you want to punish this. The second one is a counter launcher. So this is the biggest thing about it. The mind game this has is very, very scary because the second hit is a counter launcher. That's only, this mine's 14, but you can't really punish it that hard with like a launcher, for example, unless you're playing Lars. So yeah, be very, very careful about that. And also the delay, as I said, this delay, you can also get counter launched on hit. If you press something, like let's say you want to press because you're 0, you're gonna get counter launched because of the delayed 3. So yeah, be very, very careful about that. Mine's 14, always punish it. Beware of the mind game and try to backdash every time after this. After this, just backdash. It's gonna be one of your best options because they won't be able to, you know, keep on pressure that easily anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of mind games when it comes to it. Maybe they'll 4-4-3. Who knows? Now let's talk about the 2. So the 2-4 and the 2 in general is a very, very good option that the Eddy players have. So 2 is an 18 frame mid that has pretty decent tracking to the left. Basically it tracks. Also has decent tracking to the right, but you can sidewalk it. It's sidewalkable. But it has decent tracking in general. It's very, very hard to sidestep. And it has follow-ups. So I think this might be one of the best moves from this stance, the relaxed stance. Of course 4 is also strong, but I think this is very, very good because of how little minus this is. So this is -2. Very, very little minus. Works as a mid mix-up, so if you do duck, you're gonna get hit. 16 damage, that's a chunk. +8, pretty good. And it has very good mind games. So the mind game here is either I do the high, or I don't. It's very, very simple. So there's a high here, right? While standing, not while standing. Relax 2-4. There's a high, you have to duck and punish it. Or I just do relax 2, B -2, and just continue pressure. So do this into 4-4-3 maybe. Just because you're respecting it. Because obviously there's a high here, you don't want to mash. Very, very simple mind game that if you do duck it, let's say they do this and you duck it, right? This to duck, you do get the punish. While standing 2 works now. Pretty good. You can also TP, no problem. But while standing 2 is what I would recommend. Right? But you won't always duck. Which, as I said, is the part of the mind game. Because you have to guess either you duck or you don't duck. Because you don't always duck. If you always duck, you're gonna get pressured to death. So be very, very careful about it. Let's talk about the situation when you don't duck. So when you don't duck this high is -5 for Eddy. So you can keep on backdashing. But the thing about this also is that it can also do this, which is keep in stance, basically. So the Eddy player can choose to not be in stance, just get out of it like that, or stay in stance. Let me actually check if the frames are different. Might be. Let me check. I don't remember. They are. It's -3. They are. So Eddy player, if they go into stance like that, they're actually in plus here. It's -3 for you, so they're actually in a plus here if they try to, not try, but stay in stance. And you're gonna, it's basically gonna be a loop. You're gonna keep on looping the relaxed stance mix-up, and this time you're gonna be -3. So, for example, if something like this happens, something like this, into another one, I messed up, didn't transition. So this, into another one, they can just transition and just loop this as much as they want. Because they just go back to the stance and do it every time. But as I said, the weakness of it is that there's a high. So the second it's a high, you have to duck and punish it. But, as I said, you don't always duck it. It's a mind game. But now let's talk about the third hit. Because there's also another hit here. That one. So this high also has a third follow-up which I always thought was a high, but it's a mid. So if you do try to press here, you get hit. Try to sidestep, you get hit. You can't do anything here. You have to block it, basically. It is a -14 move, so you have to down back 1-2. For a long time, I thought this was a high, by the way. But this basically forces you to respect him even more. He's already +3, right? Because of the stance. But you have to respect him even more because of this last mid. Okay. So that's about that. Is there anything else from the stance? Oh yeah, 1+2. Almost forgot. This is a very, very good mid option. So Relax also has another mid option with 1+2. So if you do duck, let's say you duck the Hell Sweep. Eddy has a mid option that will wall splat you, which is quite fast. So this is -8. It's a safe mid option, but it usually is being used for wall splatting purposes. It is weak to sidestepping, but you won't be sidestepping Relax anyway. It's really not worth it. So -8 with a lot of pushback. So you have to be careful about what the options you choose here. Usually, if you choose something long hitting like 4-4-2, it will be okay. But the Eddy player might bash like jabs or something because of the pushback. So be very, very careful about the 1+2. Be very careful about it. Okay. And that mix-up usually comes at the wall for a wall splat. They will mix up that with a Hell Sweep. Or they will mix up 4-3. Because, as I said, it's also wall splat. It's very strong. Okay. I think we have to transition to the other stance, which is the handstand. This one. There's no other stance, right? It's just those two. It is just those two. So, yeah, handstand. So handstand is actually a very, very scary stance, but it's not that scary unless he gets the stacks. So the stack is this right here. Not that. This stance right here. Not the stance, stack. So whenever he gets 1 or 2, especially 2, this stance becomes way scarier. So first let's talk about what happens without any of the stacks. So this handstand has very, very good checks. Very, very good checks. And the most common ways they transition to handstand is from a 2-3 punish. So 2-3, this is their 12-frame punish. Into +8, right? +8, handstand, and then, you know, 2 handstand options. Doesn't matter which ones. One of the most common ones. Or they can also do 4-4-4, but as I said, that's punishable. But 2-3 is basically going to be their most common one. I'm not sure about anything else. Maybe I'm forgetting something. Okay. So basically, handstand. The mix-ups are very, very simple. The mix-ups without any stacks, doesn't have any lows in it, but they will just continue pressuring you until they go into a stance that has low in it. Or they go into neutral. Okay, that's a mistake because I have a stance. Something like this is basically what I mean. So one of the most common options that Eddy players do is this into 1. And the reason they do this is because they do a mid plus frame move +6, right? Although steppable. On block anyway. You can't oh, you can't? I didn't know that. You can't step, don't hit. But yeah, usually you won't be stepping this that much. But the reason they do it is because they want a mix-up. They basically want a low mix-up. So you're going to be +6 into, not +6, you're going to be -6 into relaxed mix-up. So you have to guess either a Hell Sweep is going to come, either a 4 is going to come, either it's 1+2. Basically, you just have to guess. It's a guessing game. You got to be very, very careful there. Okay, so that's one of the most common options from handstand, which is the 1. It's also a good option because it does chip damage too. You know, chip damage, decent damage on hit, a lot of plus. It's pretty good, pretty damn good. And if they want to check you, they also have a lot of options. Let's say you mash or sidestep, they can also do a 2 here, a 4, or a 3. You know, now let's talk about those. So the 2 option is basically another mid mix-up they have, which is a 2-3. So if you do duck, let's say you duck this. This is a wall splat, mid, -13 though. You can punish it with either back 1-2, down back 1-2. Down back 1-2 is more consistent. But you have to be very aware to not mash into it. Just don't mash into it. Because this has a very, very similar mind game to the 2 of Relax. Very similar. That they can just do this too. They do just that without continuing it. The reason they do it is because, you know, it's a similar mind game because you're expecting the second mid. And if they just don't do anything after this, they can just, you know, continue pressure. Or do down 3 or down 4 here. So you have to be careful about that. Okay, so that's about 4. Now let's talk about this 4. This one. So this is handstand 4, and this is gonna be Eddy's main checking tool. So basically this into 4 is how they will check you if you try to sidestep, if you try to press. Basically anything, this is how they check you. This will even check rage arts, this will check power crushes. It's basically their best check. And this 4 by itself is -3. So it's a very, very good move to check with and just spam, because it also but keeps the stance. But the main thing about this is that it's also a string, so it has another mind game attached to it. So it has a 4-2, I think? 4-2. So 4-2 on hit is natural. 4-2 like this. And you can't mash into it. So this doesn't jail. It looks like it jails, but it doesn't jail. It is punishable. -13 again. So down back 1-2, back 1-2, whatever you want. But this string's existence makes it so just this, not that, just this is scary. Way scarier, because you can't just, you know, interrupt it anymore. Because of the follow-ups. Also, the other thing that's scary is the 1+2 option. Because the power crush exists, the Eddy player can also do 4 into power crush and you won't be able to interrupt it. So if you're like jabbing here, it won't work. Power crush will basically absorb it. Or if you do something like a back 2-2, you'll also get hit. So that's why I would usually recommend sidestepping after that move. Although if you do sidestep, you're gonna get hit by the mid, so yeah, just pick and choose, I guess. It's a mind game. You have to guess. If you want to stay safe, just hold back. Basically hold back. Because as I said, he does not have any lows from that stance. Unless he has stacks. But one thing before I go to the stacks, I want to mention that on counter it, this also has a pretty decent animation. Not that. This counter it into something's guaranteed, basically. I forgot what's guaranteed. But this into something. Just needs a straight angle. There we go. I don't remember what's guaranteed here, but something's guaranteed, basically, and he gets a decent counter here. So you have to be careful not to mash into the handstand sometimes if they like checking you with the 4. Now let's talk about the stances. This one right here, there we go. So this stance enables Eddy to have lows from that. Not only a low, he also has an additional mid. So there are 2 new moves from the handstand if they have a stack, either 1 or 2. So 1 is back 4. So this is the mid option that gets added. This back 4 is a +6 mid. That's a little bit on the slower side, but it's an amazing mid option. It's 7 chip, +6, and it's just super strong because it mixes up with the low perfectly. And it goes into normal stance just to, you know, keep on the pressure instead of, you know, staying in this and going to relax. Maybe it would have been better if it went to relax, but it's very, very strong. Back 4 is a very strong move. And it's +9 on hit, does 25 damage, forces crouch, and he's like right in your face, basically mixing you up. You have to be very careful. The good thing about that is that it doesn't have a counter prompt. It's just this. Now let's talk about the low. The low is 3+4. This right here. So this is basically like a hell sweep. And on the close range, does 28 damage, +4, everything is guaranteed here. And you have to be very, very careful. You have to be looking out for this. What you miss? A lot. But I'm almost in the end. Almost. So yeah, 21 frame low. You can't react to this. And the biggest thing about this is that even if you do block it, let's say you block this. Bro, what happened? Oh, he doesn't have a stack, that's why. Bro. Okay, let's do this. There we go. Even if you do block it, it's only -13. So even though it's kind of like a hell sweep, in a way it's like a hell sweep. It's minus 13 only, so it doesn't stagger on blocks, so it's very, very strong. Now let's talk about the other version. So 2 stacks actually doesn't change much when it comes to new moves, but changes these 2 moves by a lot. So instead of 1 stack, let's say it has 2 stacks, like this. That means that Eddy's Hell Sweep here does 35 damage and knocks down and floor breaks. Crazy strong, right? This 2 stacks changes everything. It basically changes this whole stance. Forces you to duck, crazy damage, knockdown, floor break, very strong. The same with this. This also gets changed. Knockdown, 25 damage. Strong as fuck. It's very, very good. And these 2 mix-ups are just a nightmare to deal with whenever there are stacks involved. Doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2, they're just a nightmare to deal with in general. I mean, of course, especially the 2, it's crazy strong. But, yeah, be very, very aware of this. Be very aware of this. Okay, that's about that stance. Did I forget anything? Did I forget something? Is there a 3rd stack? No. Yeah, upward 2 is punishable. Like, I won't be talking about this kind of stuff, about what's punishable or not. I think I forgot 1 move. I completely forgot about it. Which is a elbow that forces crouch. But I forgot the input for it. I actually forgot the input for it. Down 1, down 2. Nope. Okay, I'll see if I remember it later. Let's talk about heat for now. Let's talk about heat. So, heat, whenever Eddy goes into heat, basically, you have to be very, very aware of a lot of stuff. Because he has new moves. So this is one of the scariest moves he has. So this is a 3+4. Right, it's a mid +9. So it's a +9 mid. Already that's very strong. But the biggest thing about this is that it's a normal hit launcher. So this is an in-heat only move for Eddy. That's a normal hit launcher. +9. Goes to handstand on block, so it's a +9 mixed up in handstand. And it's a normal hit launcher. Super strong. Very, very strong. The weakness this has is that it's linear. But even if you sidestep it, you have to instant tornado if you want to, you know, punish this. It's a float combo. So be very, very aware of that. And the other thing he also has is there's a high here, right? Is it 4-4-3+4? 4-3+4. I forgot the input. Let me check, actually. There's another heat input. QCF4. Yeah, it is QCF4. I forget inputs, guys. I'm sorry. Can't remember everything. Yeah, this right here. So the high that transitions into relax. So this move, it's basically a tracking move. It tracks really, really well. You can sidestep it, I think, but basically it's like a tracking move. That is a high +9 for Eddy. Transitions into relax and basically mixes you up with a hell sweep. So you have to guess either a hell sweep is coming or a low is coming. You have to like really, really be aware of these 2 moves. The thing is, you can't duck this, but if you duck it, you might get hit by the normal hit launching mid, which is a big problem. But now let's talk about the biggest thing in heat for Eddy. It's his heat smash. So the heat smash Eddy has. So jab, heat smash, right? Is very, very strong. So this heat smash, if you do try to step it, it actually has full tracking to the left. 100% tracking. You can step it to the right, so it's very weak to the right. Not very, but it's weak to the right. But you cannot step it to the left. Just do not step it to the left, don't even try. And if you want to punish this, let's say you want to punish this, right? I'm just stepping it. You either instantly electric, which is still going to give you a very weird combo, or go close into, you know, whatever, but it's just hard to punish. Look at this. I just, what do I do? It's hard to punish. Because it goes into relax instantly, everything whips. I hate hit smashes like this, you know? What do I do? Back to 2, I guess. I think one of the best ways you can punish this might be this string right here. This string right here. But you have to dash into it. And hopefully it works. Hopefully. And it still whiffs. You know, it's weird. It's just weird. 4-4-2, it's garbage punish. Like, I'm trying to think of a punish that's actually good. 4-4-2 will work, but what is this? It's not really a punish, you know? 4-4-3, it whiffs. Like, bro. There we go. I delayed it so much. Maybe that will work. But as I said, it's very, very hard to punish. But at least you can avoid it by sidestep right. But the biggest issue about this heat smash, is that it can be used from relax. So relax, heat smash, is one of the scariest things ever. Because something like this, into hell sweep, right? This is the hell sweep. Bro. This is the hell sweep. Is a mix-up. But that makes this into heat smash a mid option for the hell sweep, which is crazy. This is you can't do anything about this, by the way. You just have to guess. And if you guess correctly and you block the mid, you're gonna be another mix-up. So let's talk about this on block. So it's +6 relax mix-up on block with a heat smash. So you're gonna get hell sweeped. You can backdash away, I think, but it's very hard to backdash in this situation. Most of the time, I think you're going to get hell swept if he tries to do a hell sweep. Or if you duck, you might get, you know, clipped by a mid. Or maybe they're going to do a relax 1. Basically, you have to be very careful if you block the heat smash. It's scary, especially at the wall. And usually this will push you to the wall. Look at how much pushback this has. So much pushback. Just pushes you to the wall. Usually you're going to be at the wall if there's a wall, unless it's an infinite like this. And you have to guess. Just guess. I mean, that's Eddy. To be honest, that's Eddy as a character in this game. Just guess. He makes you guess more than Kazuya does sometimes. I swear. Holy shit. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah. Okay. Let's remember if I forgot something. Remember if I forgot something. What the combination. So back to this is also something you have to, like, know. You have to punish this. It's -11. But what was that elbow that I forgot about? Is it a forward move? Or back forward move? I remember an elbow forcing crouch. But I just don't remember the input. Yeah, I actually just don't remember the input. Yeah, I think that's it, boys. I don't think I forgot anything else. I did forget that one thing, but I just don't remember the input for it. That's fine. It's from a stance? No, it's not. It's not from a stance. It's a downwards elbow. Kind of looks like this, but it's an elbow. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If you guys can look for it or search for it, that'll be okay. But yeah, as I said, I think that's gonna be it. I like speed lives aren't perfect. I forget some things. Like for now, I just forgot about that move. That move that I think it forces crouch on hit. So yeah, YouTube, big thanks for watching. Hopefully it was helpful. Even though I forgot some stuff, I can't remember everything. What can I do? But I think it was enough. I think it was enough. I covered most stuff. A lot of the mix-up stance options. It was good. It was fine. So yeah, once again, YouTube, thank you for watching, and till later.